Dear Diary, today we arrived. I didn't have to worry about finding the school because a car from Valley picked us up at the airport. Tucson, Arizona is a much larger city than I thought. On the way through town, the driver drove up in one of the nearby hills so we could see what Tucson looked like. Valley School itself is located in a beautiful area not too far from the Catalina Mountains. I was pretty nervous at first, but everyone was so friendly that I began to feel right at home. Since this is my first year at Valley School, I have to depend on the other girls to teach me how to be a Valley girl. They all seemed more than willing to help out. I met my dorm supervisor. She lives in our dorm, so there is someone around to help us. My roommate is really helpful. She started here last year, so she knows what's going on. All the girls live two to a room, and each new girl has a roommate who has been here before to make things easier. Carol and I spent most of the evening decorating our room. As long as we're neat and in good taste, the school lets us do our rooms however we want. I think it has something to do with making us feel more at home. Anyway, we had a great time. Well, it's 10 o'clock now, Diary, and it's time for lights out, so I'll write to you again tomorrow night. One of the first things that happened this morning was that I learned something about the history of Valley School. On the wall in the dining room are a large picture of the ocean and a plaque in Latin. It's translated, "Understanding, from the earth, from the sky, from the sea." It was the theme of the school when it was started in 1947 in California and still is today. Mr. Wallace Whitcomb and his wife were two of the founders of the school, and they brought it to Arizona just 2 years later. In 1954, Valley School for Girls became a non-profit corporation in Tucson. After breakfast, we all went to assembly. Some days we will have chapel in a very pleasant grove of trees on the campus. On Sunday, those of us who want will be taken into Tucson to whatever church we attend. The rest of the day was very busy, meeting new people, teachers, going to my classes for the first time. The classes here are very small. I think my largest one has 12 students. That means that the teachers will have a chance to know all of us very well. When a problem comes up that one of us doesn't understand, the teacher can take time to help with it. The rooms are set up to make this easy. In every room you sit in a horseshoe around the teacher, so there is never any back row. Since most of the girls coming to Valley are planning to go on to college, the courses we take are the ones required by most colleges and universities. There are classes in English, algebra, geometry, and trigonometry. There are several languages available, including Latin, French, Spanish, and German. Some of the girls take 2 or more. We also have courses in ancient history, American history and government, and modern European history. In science, there is chemistry, biology, and physical science. Everybody takes art appreciation or art, and many of the girls take courses in music. Wow, Diary, by the time I found out all about these courses, I began to wonder if I'd make it through to the activity period in the afternoon. After classes are finished for the day, Valley has a time set aside for athletics and activities. There are so many I hardly know what to choose. Tennis, swimming, golf, archery, or riding. If I want, I'll also be able to play volleyball, basketball, field hockey, or softball when they're in season. I think I'm going to spend some time at each of them, and then, maybe later on, settle down to one or two that I like best. There are also a lot of clubs and committees which will keep us busy. There is the art workshop and clubs for drama, the library, music, writing, and gardening. If I want, I can work on the newspaper, the Valley Tally, or the Aquacade, or the Horse Show. One I know I'm going to join is Outward. Its members volunteer to help needy people in town. You can imagine, Diary, after such a busy day, how welcome the quiet period before dinner is. Some of the girls have gone to meetings, some are studying, and I'm getting a chance to tell you everything that happened today. By the time I'm finished writing, it will be time for dinner. Every night we have dinner by candlelight, and some girls act as hostesses. Since I'm new, I guess my turn will be for a couple of weeks. After dinner, we will have to study until almost bedtime, so I'll write to you more another day. Diary, last night I spent a lot of time talking with my roommate Carol. I wanted to find out more about becoming a Valley girl. Carol's as interested in animals as I am in people. She's crazy about them. The one thing she wants more than anything else is to be a veterinarian. I guess there are several girls here like that. She keeps her own horse and is a member of the riding club. One of her favorite activities is the quadrille team. They ride in all sorts of fancy formations, and they're very good. Sometime in the spring, Valley sponsors a horse show, and Carol will be riding in lots of the events. Last year, she won several prizes. There are many different events, both for English riders and Western riders. Of course, Carol says everybody in the school helps out in putting on the horse show, making posters, parking cars, or selling tickets. I think I'm going to like working at the refreshment stand, meeting all the people who come to the show. But if being a Valley girl means you have to ride, I don't know. You know, Diary, at first I thought it was very strange going to classes with all girls. But now that we've been in classes a few days, I find it very nice. When we're in class, it's very easy to concentrate on the subject and what the teacher is talking about, since there aren't any distractions. Now, Diary, I don't want you to think that I'm giving up boys. Tonight is our first mixer this year with Southern Arizona School, one of the nearby boys' schools. Carol says there are a lot of real keen guys coming, so I guess I'd better set my hair. Wow, Diary, what a weekend. First on Friday night there was popcorn and movies, and then on Saturday we had that swell mixer. There were so many neat guys, I couldn't decide who I liked best. Sunday afternoon, we had a very special guest, Mr. Leif Erikson. He's a TV star, you know. He's a friend of Mr. Matthews, the director of the school, so Mr. Matthews asked him if he would come over and talk to the girls.
Mr. Erickson, what's it like starring in a TV series?
It is a delightful experience. To star in any endeavor in the theatrical business is, in my case, the culmination of 40 years of work and experience, and it finally comes to pay off, and that's sort of the name of the game. It's as though you people were mathematics majors, and in the course of some years you finally attain professorship, and you've more or less reached the top in your chosen profession. And also, if I weren't a star of a television show, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to you, which is a delight in itself.
How do you become an actor?
Oh, that's a long process. In my case, and in most of my friends' cases, we started, when we were children. I began on an amateur level when I was about 14, 15. I'd always wanted to do it, however, but you must screw up your courage and develop a little confidence. And it's something that you have to have a burning desire for. You can't just say, well, I might be interested in doing that. It doesn't work usually. You have to really, really burn for it. That's the term that I like to use. I use it to my children. And as I say, I started when I was very young and went through the mill in every facet of theatrical business, the circus, vaudeville, motion pictures, Broadway, and finally we end up on this television series, which is a culmination, as I told you, Chris.
If you had a choice, would you do anything else?
Hillary, I've been faced with that one time. I had to, economically. I had to go into another business, and it was, while I was successful in it, I wasn't particularly happy. In the theatrical business, in my business, in order to be even reasonably successful, you must enjoy it. You must have a singleness of purpose, and I think this is true in anyone's endeavor, and if they're able to find a pursuit that they can hew to, that they're extremely happy people. And I just say a prayer every night because I feel so fortunate about it.
Mr. Erickson, if a girl plans on going into the movies, what type of schooling would you suggest for her?
Most people that become successful actors or successful anything are not just simply interested in that thing. They have to want to do it. Schooling, I feel, is the most important aspect of preparing oneself for anything, and particularly the acting profession. Acting is comprised of self-confidence, which comes from school. It's comprised of great inquisitiveness about everything. And of course, in a school, you are exposed to all facets of science, English, of course, and also the social aspect, particularly a school like Valley School, where you're in a relaxed atmosphere and you're able to pursue your own inquisitiveness. And acting is really comprised of this, chiefly. So school is terribly important.
I got to know another girl over the weekend. Her name is Lisa. She's in the drama club, acts, dances, performs dramatic readings, and if she has any time left over, she writes plays or skits for talent shows. Some Friday nights, instead of movies, the school has talent shows. The Valley girls who are interested perform skits and dance and sing. Lisa's almost always involved. During the year, she goes to lots of plays as well as concerts and ballets at the University of Arizona, which is nearby in Tucson. The school makes special arrangements so we can go see them if we like. Another one of Lisa's interests is music. She sings with the music club and even takes piano lessons. I don't know how she does it all. Lisa's roommate is Lori, and she's as interested in art as Lisa is in drama. Of course, we all take art appreciation classes every year, but Lori is always painting or something. She's in the art workshop and spends as much time as she can there. When the drama club puts on a play, she's one of the girls who will design the scenery. If she isn't painting something of her own, she's making decorations for the school dances or mixers. I think one of the things she likes the most is painting the great sunsets we see every night. I sure wish I had her kind of talent. You may think, Diary, that just because we're in Arizona, the only swimming we do is in the pool. Well, that's not true. This weekend, some of the girls went on a trip to the Gulf of California. Wow! Besides visiting a foreign country, Mexico, and swimming in the Gulf, the teachers turned the trip into kind of a marine biology class. The kids who went found specimens to bring back and show the rest of us. I was sorry I missed the Mexico trip, but in the spring, I'll get a chance to go on the Arizona trek. The idea is that studying isn't only done in the classroom. We may start out by seeing the historic Santa Vera Mission just outside of Tucson. Then we may get to visit the San Francisco Peaks, the highest in the state. And I'm sure we'll stop in Oak Creek Canyon. Yes. If we're really lucky this year, we may get a chance to meet some of the Navajos when we cross their reservation. And I know we'll stop at a trading post. You know, Diary, how I've always been interested in people and how they act and what they were like in the past. Well, one of the highlights of the trip for me will be visiting some of the Indian ruins. Indians lived in these villages over 1,000 years ago. Indian ruins aren't the only old towns we'll visit. One of our stops will be Jerome, an old mining town. Of course, it's not as old as the Indian ruins, but it's now a ghost town with more buildings than people to live in them. Probably the most exciting stop on the whole trip will be the Grand Canyon. What can I tell you about the Grand Canyon, Diary? For millions of years, the Colorado River has cut through the walls of rock to make a valley a mile deep. Some places the canyon is so deep and remote that there are waterfalls most people don't even know exist. I'm so excited about the trip, I wish it was spring already. Susan says the trek is really one of the highlights of the year. Oh, I forgot to tell you about Susan. Someday she hopes to be a writer. Anything that has to do with writing, she's involved in. She spends a lot of her spare time in the library, which has got a lot of good books. She writes poetry, and you should see her themes. Wow, are they something. Susan says she likes it at Valley School, especially because she has time to sit in the desert and think about her writing. It's peaceful and quiet, so she likes to sit under a tree to watch the rabbits and quail. The brush near the campus is full of small animals. I haven't forgotten you, Diary. It's just that I've had a lot of studying to do. In the last few days, I had conferences with all my teachers. Regularly, all the students talk with their teachers about their progress. It's real easy because most of the teachers live right on campus. Reports are sent to our parents 6 times a year. And frankly, Diary, this time my math grades weren't very good. I was rather ashamed to have my folks find out about them. But my teacher has really helped out. At my last school, there were so many students that we didn't quite finish the book, so I started out a little behind. He had me spend several extra periods with him to help me catch up with the rest of the class. Once I got the hang of it, I got almost as good at it as Jennifer. Jennifer is a whiz at math and science. She wants to be a scientist or a doctor. There are a lot of girls at Valley School like Jennifer who are really sharp in their subjects. But you know, Diary, I've discovered that there are a lot of girls like me, too. The teachers are perfectly willing to spend as much time with us as we need. You don't have to be a genius, so long as you're willing to make some effort. This weekend was a special weekend at Valley. It was Thanksgiving, and our parents were invited to Thanksgiving dinner. It was great to see my mom and dad, and while they were here, they had a chance to meet my math teacher. They had a long conversation with him and the headmaster, and said how grateful they were about receiving all the information along with the term reports. After dinner, everyone took part in Gymkhana, games on horseback. Those of us who don't ride still took part in some games. It was great fun. Before they left, Mom and Dad had a chance to meet Ronald. Ron is one of the boys I met at one of the mixers with Southern Arizona School. Of course, he's not the only one, but he may ask me to the Christmas formal, so I wanted my folks to meet him. Dream of dreams. Wow, Ron did ask me to the dance, and can he dance? Anything the band played, he could dance to. We had a super time. I can't think of words, Diary, to tell you how much fun we had. There were all sorts of preparations for Christmas. Before we left, we had a Christmas party, complete with Santa and his reindeer. Now that we're back from Christmas vacation, a lot of time is spent studying. Not all of it, you understand, but quite a bit. Some of the girls seem to have even more studying than I do. Sandy, for example. Sandy likes foreign languages, and at Valley you can take more than one at a time if you want. After she goes to college in France, Sandy wants to work at the United Nations as a translator. I was surprised that she could go to college in Europe from Valley School. But Sandy told me that girls from Valley have gone everywhere, from the University of Arizona and Prescott College to Vassar and Stevens. She also said that other Valley girls had gone to college in Europe, and so she thought she could, too. Today, diary, I'm writing to you while I'm sunbathing. It seems strange to be by the pool when everyone back home is shoveling snow. The girls in the aquacade are already starting to practice their routines. Before graduation, they'll put on a water ballet as part of the celebration. Today, Kylo, the Senior Good Citizenship Honorary, tapped its members for next year. Its members are selected for having shown qualities of good citizenship. They must pledge to do everything they can to help other students and the school. I was proud to have been chosen a member. Diary, it's been a very busy year, and I haven't spent as much time with you as I would have liked. There were many things I wanted to tell you about, all of the friends I made and the things we did together. I wanted to tell you how much I've changed and how much I've grown up. Remember when I first came? I wondered what a Valley girl would be like. Now I know. No Valley girl is like another. The school tries to develop each of us in our own way. All year long I've been telling you about some of my friends and how I wished I was like them. But now I know better. I can just be myself. Each of us is an individual with our own integrity, and the school teaches us to be that way. It expects us to show all of the qualities of good citizenship. I know now that I'm not a Valley girl. I'm one of the girls from Valley.
Not a Valley girl, but one of the girls from Valley. That's very important. I'm Leif Erikson. You know, young people in their teens today have an awful lot of problems to face. One of their biggest problems is to learn to be a part of our society and still keep their own identity. Now, Valley School offers a girl a chance to do just that. The school was founded on high moral standards, so its students aim for high principles and goals. They are offered responsibilities, but these responsibilities are not forced on them. Thus, Valley produces a well-rounded girl whose high ideals will make her an asset to her country, her community, and her family. Valley School is where each individual girl is so important that everyone is somebody and no one is nobody.